On this week's episode of Make It with Calvin, we're talking cling wrap handles, stock Harbor Freight one, and my 3D printed one, backstory behind it, and why I feel it's a good practical use of 3D printing and 3D design. So the backstory behind this whole cling wrap handle project is actually kind of comical and comes out of a little bit of frustration as well. When I was helping my family move one of our relatives, we bought ourselves some Harbor Freight cling wrap here, and the cling wrap itself is actually pretty nice for the money. It's just the handle right here is the Achilles heel of the system. One of the problems with it is it does not like to spin freely in the handle, and because it is held in by absolutely nothing, it's prone to doing that, just falling out quite literally. And to be honest, that's really frustrating when you're trying to hold a moving blanket on something and somebody's trying to spin the cling wrap around and it's trying to fall off, and then you have to try and like feed it around with your fingers. It was a mess. So I vowed to myself, we can do better here on Make It with Calvin. And that's what I ended up doing. I came up with this. Now, it is by no means a perfect cling wrap holder, and I will explain why in a few minutes. But quite honestly, it worked way better than the original one ever could have and ever did. And to me, I call that an accomplishment for quite literally designing this in like under half an hour. If you guys haven't seen already, I posted the live speed designing of me doing this to the 1812 Overture. Check it out if you're interested. I may or may not do a sped up version because I already have that one up there. The whole point behind putting that up was just to show how quickly this got put together, and nothing got edited out when I was doing that. I kid you not. So the design of this is pretty simple. It is multiple components to make printing as easy as possible and also to eliminate support material, as well as offering the ability to customize the components to fit your application. So what I have done for this is I have glued the handle here to the lower lid, which is the same as the upper lid, and also glued the threaded rod in there as well. And then this top one spins on and off, so you can take the spool on and off. Let me show you how it works.
Let's do that guy. Doing that. Don't need it anymore. Then we have our cling wrap. Stick it on there. We can take this, spin it on. Sometimes it takes a second to get the threads right.
And there you have it. Now, like I mentioned, this is not perfect, and one of the problems that I did run into is the fact that this top lid spins on and off quite easily. Now, I have thought up of a very simple solution to that, which would be to just make the threaded rod either longer or just attach another piece of threaded rod on there and have a simple jam nutting setup where there's just a thumb screw that you tighten down to lock this in place to stop that from spinning when that guy is spinning. Now, when we were doing the move, a very simple solution to that is I just took a scrap piece of the cling wrap, put it on the threads a little bit like pipe tape, and it worked absolutely brilliantly. Now, another slight issue that we ran into with this is the cardboard spool itself was starting to ever so slightly fall apart, so it wasn't spinning perfectly on the handle, but honestly, it was not falling off the handle, so that was a huge benefit as well. I really don't see a need to modify the design too much, although I might get rid of those little bumps that were on there. I really don't know why those were originally designed on there, but for the sake of time, I was copying the Harbor Freight one as relatively closely as I could because I figured, well, at least it fits, so I'm going to do that. But that's probably something I will modify, is just making it a smooth surface on the inside to rotate on. Now, when it came to printing this, as you've probably seen in the time lapse, the original was done in black MatterHackers Build Series PETG, but I ran into some issues when printing that in terms of print strength, so I came along and reprinted it in orange MakerGeek's Raptor PLA that I received from Jet Prints. And another advantage of the bright color here is the fact that it's a lot harder to lose in the garage, because there couldn't remember any really bright orange items inside the moving truck. So that definitely was another advantage. Now, another feature modification I may make, just because it's in a way kind of like my signature, is making a handle with the O-rings. And I know you probably think that's silly, and it probably is, but you know what? I love O-rings for texture and grip, and I feel kind of like it's a nice little way to make the handle more awesome, so I might or might not do that in the future. We'll see. So if you guys are interested in making your own, I will have a link to where you can purchase the files, including the original Fusion 360 file for this, down in the description from PinShape to help support the channel. And if you guys end up making your own, end up making a version of it, end up making something inspired by it, please show me on social media. I would absolutely love to see your creations and what you guys make of this. So in conclusion, I guess all I have to say is if you have a problem, you have 3D design skills, or you know somebody who can do design work, and you want to try and solve the problem, go ahead and do it. Quite honestly, this is a great example of a practical 3D print that fit a somewhat niche situation, but in a couple of hours I was able to make something that worked way better, saved time and frustration, and you know what? Is a great example of what you can do. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you later.